I'm gonna use this comment as a jumping off point because in my initial video of my review of Endgame, there is some confusion over the world of royal reporting, which if you read the book, particularly the chapter on media, Omid explains it. There is a difference between royal correspondence, royal reporting, and the royal rota. And a lot of time, especially on this app, we tend to use royal rota interchangeably with anyone who writes about the British royal family, which is incorrect. I totally did this too until I learned the difference. Apologies for my hideous graph, but here we go. Think of royal reporting as layers. In the middle, you have the royal rota. Royal rota was established roughly 40 years ago, and it is made up of a small team of British newspaper reporters. There's also photography and TV, but that's their own little pack. And there are rules here. You have to have an in-print publication, not just online. Before they made an exception for Hello Magazine, there were no magazines. So you have people like Rebecca English from the Daily Mail. She's actually the domestic captain for the Royal Rota. The foreign captain is Valentine Lowe. I have Victoria Ward from the Telegraph, Matt Wilkinson from the Sun, Boyanika from the Sunday Times, etc., etc. And in the case of Omid Scobie, no, he does not write for these publications. So you might wonder, how to get in there? He created an honorary Rota position, which he shared along with a representative from People magazine. Royal Rota was basically an agreement that was made so that people could receive information on the royal family that their tax dollars were going for things like their charity events, openings, etc. So in order to cut down on the number of people that are at any of these engagements, there is a Royal Rota reporter that is assigned to go to these events. They take notes, they file them with the rest of the Rota so that everyone can write their own piece with their own spin or, newspaper flair or style to then publish. You can tell when someone didn't have time or didn't feel like editing some of the notes because sometimes in the middle of a paragraph about some of these royal outings or occasions, you'll see that it's like the same text from everyone, or at least similar. You can still attend these events if you are in the Royal Rota, but not on for the day. You just stay in a designated press area. There are a lot of advantages to being the one on the Royal Rota that day. You get to, hobnob with the press secretary, maybe talk to the private secretary, get some more background information, all those things. It's a system with a lot of problems. The biggest one, in my point of view, is the equity issue. There are many small startup independent outlets that can only afford to have a digital presence, and they are not allowed to apply for the Royal Rota. There's also no representatives from the Commonwealth countries, which seems odd. And this obviously leads to a very amalgamous, white, older Rota. The other problem is no one really wants to oversee it. The British royal family does not want to control it or try to do anything with it. The News Media Association effectively owns it, but not really. As Omid puts it, it's more of a cheerocracy than a democracy. He didn't say that. But my point being that Rebecca English, according to Scobie, has essentially hijacked the Royal Rota and made herself permanent president. Also allows her to cherry pick some of the plummier roles so that she can cover the more exciting events. While anyone can technically apply to the Royal Rota, good luck getting in. Pretty much been this set of tabloids and serious newspapers for a few decades. So that is what makes someone a Royal Rota reporter. Then you have non-Rota royal correspondents who still cover the Daily Beat, but they're not in the Royal Rota. People like Victoria Murphy of Town & Country, Katie Nicholl of Vanity Fair, Newsweek. And then you have the actual royal experts and historians. People like Kate Williams or Lucy Worsley. And there are royal commentators. Anyone can call themselves a royal commentator, and sometimes, just to make it confusing, people will call themselves royal experts, or they will be assigned that title on television shows or talk radio. There is no training required to become a royal commentator, sort of like becoming a Beachbody coach or president of the United States. These are like your Angela Levins, Girl from the States, among a plethora of others. I think there's some overlap besides the Rota. I think smaller circles can go into bigger circles, but that's kind of my overall understanding of the machinations of royal reporting. So yeah, I hope that helps a bit.